So I'm pretty sure I got now what the author was setting up with this whole story so far. Because I thought it was going to be more of a Warring Kingdoms thing, but I think he's setting up more to be in the style of like how he did a comic got killed, and kind of like much more like enclosed groups, uh, doing activities versus like these big battlefields, and just kind of keeping it way more kind of close knit with the main cast. But I'm wondering about them now and why he why only kill off like the character I really liked, but while leading up to like this plot line, because I did really like the plot twist in this chapter. I thought this chapter was really good. I meant to talk about it earlier, like I forgot to read the chapter on Monday, and then I was gonna do it Tuesday morning, and then I forgot. So I was just like, I need to get to it soon, so I don't just it doesn't just drift off into one of those things I procrastinated on forever. So talking about this whole setup, I think he wants to kind of keep it more into like this almost spec ops feeling of their world, and eventually we're gonna build our own army, or at least enough of a force to take down this empire. And I like her brother, what was his name, Suzumaru, going to, I'm pretty sure it was a dude, and if I remember correctly, because that's why he was a big fan of Hisame. So him having this whole thing as like he wants to be the one to kill the king, because I really don't like this king. He really just seems like a jerk with a lot of power. Like, he has no redeeming qualities other than that he is a bad guy you hate. And that's still like something you can do with the bad guy. Of course, they're a bad guy, but it's weird to see those ones that don't have some good quality to them, because the ones that are often just outright like they're evil to be evil, they're all the people who do them aren't always like going this far of just making these guys like outright bastards in like a lot of like a lot more like manga sense. Like, I know that there are characters like that in some stories, but to make it the main bad guy, like that you're seeing chapters on his side, it's really weird. But I can understand what he's doing. He really wants you to hate this man, because after he like kills the really nice king who like worked with his people, like worked in the fields, like raped his daughter, and is like conquering his lands, he is a piece of absolute garbage. And I really liked how the old elder guy tricked him in this chapter, and like explained why he went like specifically to this one small country. Because if he's like if I wanted to escape you, I could have, like I would have been gone. I would have went way further out in the world. Like, he could have went somewhere in like the lands of where Akame got killed story happened, because those lands exist, and they created like a world of peace. But even if you like ran into like danger in that world, the best people in Hinowa got crushed are not even close to some of the crazy like upper powers of Akame got killed. Like, the powers in Hinowa are way more kind of grounded, or like some of the powers in Akame got killed were just at such a higher drastic level. He had some broken ability that made it so unfair to fight most people. But the way that they used one of these powers in this was really cool. I liked how the old guy was like, "Oh yeah, I found that freak you wanted to exterminate and fed it to to my associates." So he fed it to the main cast, and I was like, okay, well, what creature was this? Because this made the king dude genuinely pissed. He was furious. Like, he was super mad the whole time, and I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked that scene, because him generally just having like a character break moment like that, he's just furious. He's not this cool, oh, I'm just like a really powerful king who gets everything. I really liked it, because I don't like him. I hate this guy. He's not a cool he's like Mahito in Jujutsu Kaisen. He's another one kind of like that. He's a villain that there's no qualities that you kind of have to like either feel bad for him, or he's a cool villain. Like Shigaraki in My Hero, like, he's a really bad guy, but he has the aspect of his sad childhood that kind of like makes you feel a little bit bad for him. There's always that aspect that you kind of look at him and see a human side to him before he became a monster. Or you have someone like Fairy Tale's Hades, who's pretty much a magic Hitler, and like he's evil and he's a horrible person, but he's depicted as this really kind of badass, powerful, evil wizard. And it was just like really interesting to see his style. But like this guy is just, you just don't like him. You just don't like this guy. He's a jerk. He like killed a really nice king. I was really sad about that because that guy was really cool. And then torturing the old guy. But I really like how the elder guy, like even while in the boiling pot, is like saving face and like talking that mad shit to him. I thought that was really cool and kind of like lecturing him on being a king. Because I actually thought about this. This is like one of those things I think a lot of people think about at one point at one point in their life of like if they were like a king or a queen, and then it's like, but really, how would you rule? Because what would make the most sense? And this old dude gets it. Because what was his exact title? I think they said that he was like the heir of like the previous dynasty, so he was like in charge before this emperor, before the king of Zhao. I think they said. Let me see. I'm trying to look for his exact, yeah, he was the formal chief vassal of Tenru. So he was the one who pretty much like helped force the country into what it is. So he was part of who was in charge before the king. And he makes a good point because the king himself, like he wants to rule as just being this like powerful guy. He does whatever he wants. And no one can stop him. And like the elder guy, he brings up perfectly how I think exactly how it is. Like he's saying how, you know, you have to rule kind of in a way to keep your people happy, to do well for them, so they look at your power with kindness, whereas this guy wants to like rule with fear. And he makes like this perfect statement about how if you rule over people with fear, then eventually somebody is gonna like want to stab you in the back. There's always gonna be people who want you gone, and eventually somebody's gonna get in a position of power to do it. You have like it's living a really dangerous life, and it fits the style of a villain, but it's sets you up for disaster. And like if you're in a power level themed world, it sets you in a better position. But when you're in a world like this that's way more grounded, because these guys don't have like crazy powers. Even like Akame ga Kill, some of them had some really good powers, but none of them got super crazy. I feel like if you want to like rule in a super evil power level like kind of style, unless you're someone kind of like an Akame ga Kill, obviously in relation to this, someone like Death, or like the emperor who has that super mega mech weapon that you just dominate everybody at such a massive gap. Like I feel like he just has to be absurdly a higher level than everyone else. But this guy's just a human. He doesn't seem to even have a power yet, because it seems he was trying to save his power for the mermaid that was gonna help him from aging. It would make him age slower. I'd be really curious exactly what his overall plan is, but I guess we don't know if, like, in the series you can only have, like, one power from, like, one of these freak monsters. So, I don't really know. I remember, like, the Danger Beast, it was more like weapons, and then some of them had more, like, different powers could have different traits, but Ethsis, I think, was the only one that had it inside of hers. I don't remember exactly the full scale. It's been a while since I read the series. I also still need to read the prequel. I do plan on doing that, but I wanted to read this chapter because it seemed like it's the end of the year. I really wanted to read. There's not a whole lot coming out, and I was like, oh cool, let's see what this was. And I ended up actually really liking this chapter because I liked that it set up more of what the story is, because it even notes that at the very end that this is kind of the beginning. Because it's not a story of, oh, these, we're going to have some, like, kingdom-style clashes on the battlefield. This is going to be more like building rebellion and this, the other dude, Suzumaru, fighting from the inside. Which makes me really sad, because I liked Hisame, but I liked his character, his motivation for Suzumaru into climbing up the ranks in the military. So I'm guessing after this we're also going to have a time skip. because we have like the cast, like the characters that lived and made it out of this arc, and they all ate some of the mermaid from the elder, so they're gonna end up living longer. They're gonna pretty much just kind of become masters, I imagine, of their craft and be like the badasses after the time skip. I'm kind of hoping it's like that. They're way more powerful. They don't have to all be top tier instantly, but I'm hoping they're kind of on the road to being that, to eventually fight the stars. Because if they have long enough lives, they're gonna live to be like, did he say at least 100, or did he say an extra 100? Hang on, where's the exact statement from the old guy? Because that's obviously a really important story statement, and it matters to know specifics. Like they said, you should be able to live it close to at least 100 of years of age. Oh, so at a time where like dying of old age at 60 was normal. Like it's not like now where, you know, even with medicine and everything and all the technology, you can live to be, you know, people have lived to be in their hundreds. Like this would be like somebody now living to be like 200. It'd be like, still, now that we have high numbers compared to like way later, but like compared to us, like 200 would be crazy. So I imagine like them in their 60s, or maybe like, I'm trying to think of like where the story would set them, because they're probably still gonna look relatively close to how they do now, I'm guessing, but more adult like. But it's gonna be like they're gonna be like 50 or something like that, and then just be absurdly more powerful by the time like we get to more higher end portions of the series. Because there's not a lot to talk about, obviously, and it's not like, oh, an action series, my favorite parts, or like it's way more of a setup. It was more of setting up the actual story, because now we have the main cast, and they're gonna all kind of become just bigger characters in the story now that they all age slower. And I'm so sad Hisame wasn't there, but I'm happy Suzumaru is gonna like have his own storyline going on. So I am stoked about that. That's probably my favorite thing, because the stuff with Hinowa was, for me, I figured that would happen. Like, obviously, if it's like this is like a dark story arc to set up like you know, a building back to glory kind of thing. Hinowa like taking this position of power, obviously after like knowing who her mom was and like how she wanted to live her life in like a very a similar way than her mother. It made sense. Suzumaru's, I didn't predict that was going to happen, and I think that's a really interesting story arc that I'm more hyped for. Because I was so happy with with Hasame's, and then it got so sad. But I like that this guy is going to be like our Avenger. He's going to be like if he just could. I wanted to make like a Sasuke reference, but it's like there was no other Uchiha to be rooting on for Sasuke. It's like from I guess a fan perspective, because obviously anybody who was a Hisame fan right now is just kind of like, I am rooting on for Suzumaru to eventually kill the king. I'm hoping it's going to be a really gruesome panel, and he's going to figure out some way just to perfectly make up for like the sad turn, because it even shows the princess at the end of the chapter with like dead eyes, and it's so depressing. It was such a sad thing, and the painful thing I think with this, I just want to wrap up, because I think I've pretty much talked about really everything that goes on, because it bummed me out that the like so many parts of this, but that's really how this arc is supposed to work. But more on like the level of my favorite character was destroyed, but I guess maybe Suzumaru will become maybe my new favorite character in this. But the thing that bums me out the most, because it's not like a villain who I think had like when you're at a part at the beginning of their story, because we're gonna see obviously way more of the King Zhao. It's not like back when I first found out about like Zera, for like right now where like Black Clover is with Dante. You don't really know much about the character, like them in the long run, and when they're an interesting character, it's like, okay, sweet, I can't wait for more lore. But it's like with this king, you hate him, and it's more of you're just waiting for them to die. It's like, the pain, instead of a cool wait to find out more about this interesting character, is just, how long am I gonna have to like wait until I see this bastard die? How long until I can like, it's kind of like how when, I'm trying to remember his name, because I make references to parts like I want to bring up just to kind of compare, but I'm guessing more people in the Hinowa got crushed group, you know, read Akame got killed. I'm just guessing for anybody who's still here. And it's like, do you remember in Akame got killed, was it the prime minister guy? I don't remember exactly his rank, but you know, the one close to the emperor kid. But his son was an absolute just bastard, and you wanted him to die. He was just a piece of shit. Like someone like him or the clown guy, I was ready for him to die too. Like there were so many people, or like when you found out about the family at the very start, it's just like finding out about people like that, where there's nothing good about them. You just want them gone. Like people like that. That's how I just feel about this king. But unfortunately, he's in the main villain position, so he's gonna be there a while. And this is a monthly series. I don't know if it's bi-weekly or if it's monthly. I think it's monthly, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So it's going to be a while until we see this guy die. So anyway, other than that, though, comment below. Thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Further than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank y'all for listening. Bye.